Hey everybody, welcome back to Unicorn Princess Gotham. I'm Onikage, and this is going to be my final video that's also the review of Planet Crafter. I did get to see, I haven't reached the end game on my own save file here, but I did get to see and get off the planet with the three different ending options on Echo's video, if you want to check that out in the live stream that he did last week. Um, Before I show you the base, I just wanted to say one thing about why this game is a great example of early access being great. Because 2 years ago, when I first started playing it, it really didn't have as much as it does now as far as like growth for the planet. Like the majority of the greenery and everything that you could do was through the modules that you would build, like grass spreaders, seed spreaders, that sort of thing. And then they slowly worked it up so that like trees and even now insects, amphibians, animals will start showing up just on their own as you reach certain levels of terraformation. And it really makes it a better experience as far as like the world itself. And it's a lot of EA titles get abandoned, but when there's a really good one like this and they add more and more and more, not only do you get like so much more for your money's worth, but it's really great to see a game grow from where it is when you started to where it is now. Like with a lot of EA titles, if they do keep getting work, they'll get patches here and there, like major updates where they add a bunch more content and it really feels worth it and you're really glad that you supported that developer. So, if you haven't really gotten into the EA space too much, it really is worth checking out. There's a lot of misses obviously, but when there are hits, they're big hits. Um, Next month is going to be one that is sort of like that, which is Night of the Dead that we're going to be doing. Um, it's not as good as this game. I mean, it's a game that I really like, and they did add a bunch of other stuff. But it was cool to see as they added more to the story and like fleshed out the game, just where it was able to grow from. So in my base now, I've got a bunch of storage. I've got, a bunch of plants being grown. I've got my auto crafter here, which I keep switching up. I'm on my way to the mammal phase. Um, what was I going to show you? I've got like my little upstairs area that I use. This is where like I'm building the insects and amphibians. Outside of the base, I still got my trade rocket and my heaters. I need to get the newer heaters. I've got a bunch of tree spreaders over there that I actually spread out to get like more coverage of the world itself. I'll get to that in a second. I've got my little fish farm over here. There's actually fish in the water now, which I think is cool. Butterflies, yeah, see, here's the fish. Butterflies are all over the place. As far as the frog eggs, it's kind of cool. You got to find like generic frog eggs as you get out and about. Um, and then you can use those to build or to research, I guess, the newer types of frogs. Teleporters, super useful. I didn't use them too much. I got to use them more so in Echo's game. This whole area is just like grows on its own. It is really, really nice how dense and honestly beautiful that the game ends up being. Um, Getting to the oxygen level that I'm at where you don't need oxygen anymore is pretty cool too. If we look at the map here, and I wish that you could drag this with the mouse, I hope they change that. But just being able to see, like, the planet was so red and just dead at the beginning, and now it is so green, and then you can, like, really zoom in to see a lot of that. Like, this is some of the stuff from my tree spreaders around this major ship. Some of it is just growing on its own. I mean, it's just, it's really impressive. This is like a new area that they put in. It's like this red water cave that's really cool looking. Um, the procedural generated ship exploration that you can do later to go to other parts of the planet, I think is pretty cool. Um, the ending I won't spoil too much of, but regardless of which of the three options you choose, it's kind of just like, hey, you escaped, and there's some like line text, and then that's about it. So I don't know if they're planning on adding more to that, maybe with an expansion later. Hopefully that they do. One thing I do like to do in some of these games is see just how high I can build. I think I could have gone a bit further on my tower here, but it was just getting to be a bit obnoxious, so I just sort of stopped where I was at. So just to give you an idea, right now, if you look in the middle there on the bottom left, we're at the altitude of 63. And so if we go to what I've called the penthouse, now we're at 242. And from up here, you can really get a better view of just what the planet has become. That waterfall area over there is really nice. There's a whole area behind that. That's like one of the first areas that I went to. That's like the aluminum fields. There's the ship, all the trees around it. There's the lakes. Over there is like, that was like one of the first little modules, habitat modules I made at the start of this game when I was leaving. That's like where those sand falls are. Oh, and I did get an answer as far as meteorites. There was a meteorite swarm that happened that was like a bunch of tiny ones that came through super, super fast. And one of them hit me. It basically got me down to 1 health. I almost lost my save on that. So, just a heads up, the meteors can hit you and will most likely kill you. But yeah, I mean, I've got over 150 hours on this game. I've got about 50, no, 40 hours on this one save. I could really go further, but I'm just happy with where it is right now. Like with a lot of these games, at a certain point you get to where like there's not a challenge anymore, and you're just sort of just doing stuff just to like further build it out. So since I've hit that point, it's not really as engaging as it used to be. Still great. I would still like to do like the animal breeding and stuff like that. I'm just, I'm a few hours away from it, and I just don't know, especially with the month almost being over, if that's something I'm going to finish this month. I'll probably come back to the game in a bit. I'm assuming there's going to be a patch at some point that really makes me want to get back into it. So we'll just go back down. Jetpack, always great in a game to keep you from dying. If I didn't have a jetpack, that would have been the end of my save right there. But yeah, so obviously this is a recommend. If I had to give it a score, which I'm not really a fan of doing, but I would say that this is at least a 9 out of a 10 game, especially for the price. Like just the amount of hours I've gotten out of this game compared to the majority that costs $30 is really saying something. So, definitely try it out. Definitely give it a few hours. I'm sure you'll get into it in the first hour for sure. And yeah, appreciate you guys watching the content. Hopefully you enjoy some of the shorts we've started making. And we will see you next month with Night of the Dead, which is a bit silly. So there's going to be a lot more entertainment and a lot more combat versus this game, which obviously has almost no combat. But yeah, take care, stay safe. See you next month on Unicorn Princess Gotham.